Hello, welcome to biology lesson 3.03 over diffusion. So, before we can talk about how things get across the cell membrane, you have to understand about this word diffusion. Let's define it first of all. So, diffusion is the automatic dispersion of particles from areas of higher concentration to areas of lower concentration. And we have to talk about what the word concentration means as well. I'm going to hit autofocus here. So let me give you some examples. If you were watching this with me in class, what I like to do is to get out my air freshener. I stand up in the front corner of the room and I spray my air freshener for 2 or 3 seconds. And then we wait. And I ask you guys, okay, stand up when you can smell it. And it usually takes about a half a minute, but pretty soon the front row stands up, and then a little bit later, the second row, third row, and we can actually watch the smell move. That's diffusion. When I spray it in the front corner, I create an area that's really, really concentrated. Here's the thing, nature hates it when things aren't even, and it always tries to get things evened out. So I have all of those air freshener molecules up in the front corner and they're banging around and they're hitting each other. And as they do that, they knock each other further out into the room until it becomes less and less and less concentrated. And that doesn't stop until all the concentration is the same everywhere in the room. Now we see this over here in this diagram. So let's talk about the term concentration first. So what's because I'm going to start using that word a lot, concentration. That's the amount of a substance in a given area or volume. In a given area or volume. So if I look at this is a tube and it's filled with water. The gray is water and the red are particles. Here's another word I'm going to start using. Oh my goodness, lots of vocabulary today. So solvent, when I say substance, I'm talking about solvent. Solvent, I'm sorry, I just wrote that incorrectly. Oh my golly. Solute. Solute is the substance or a substance that is dissolved in water. And I don't want to talk about this too much because this is actually an example of osmosis. But we'll come back to this. I'm going to use this a little bit on the next lesson. Let's do an example. So if I do, let's see if we can do a different one. Oops, I'm cut off. Okay, let's do it down here. So let's say I take some salt and I drop it into a beaker. And I'm going to do my salt in pink. These are my salt grains. Solute would be my salt. Well, what's going to happen? Just like with the air freshener, the salt doesn't want to stay in one place. And the water molecules interact with the salt. And after a while, I'm going to have this. Let me let you catch up your drawing. So I took a solute and I made an area of high concentration. So this is high concentration. All of this all of this, where I don't have any salt, is low concentration. So the salt moved from an area of high concentration to low concentration, just like the air freshener did. Guys, this is diffusion. But to get this to work, we have to have a difference in concentration gradient. We have to have a difference in concentration. So here I have high, here I have low. So the last term that you're going to learn today, and I don't think we're going to use this diagram at all, I've changed my mind, is concentration gradient. Concentration gradient is the condition of having areas of high concentration and low concentration. So do I have a concentration gradient here? Yes, I've got high concentration, I've got low concentration. Do I have a concentration gradient here? Nope, everything's equal. All of the little atoms of salt are equally spaced apart. So I don't have anywhere where I have more salt over less salt. So diffusion, the automatic dispersion of particles from areas of higher concentration to areas of lower concentration, like this, you have to have a concentration gradient. So if I started off with this, these molecules are of course in motion, but they're not really going to spread out at all. So diffusion happens naturally. Let's go ahead and let's recap this. So what's our takeaway? Well, we had some definitions. We've got some vocabulary. We've got diffusion, concentration, solute, and concentration gradient. Diffusion is a natural process that takes place when we have areas of high concentration and low concentration. Concentration is the amount of substance in a given area or volume. And it always goes from high to low if it's just happening naturally. So this happens, the other thing we should probably add to our notes is fusion happens automatically. Nature, and I'm using that, nature hates things being unequal. So it tries to spread everything out. And then finally, we didn't do anything with this diagram. We're going to use that on the next video. All right, that's diffusion. Thanks for watching.